Welcome to the first in this series. We're going to go with this as the first one of us redoing Teaching Jenn Python on Teach Gen Tech with Laura, who is also the co-host of Misc Mondays. So if you ever want to hang out on Mondays, come hang out with us. And my name is Jenn. And yeah, I mean, I'm not good at summarizing who I am. And we do this like every episode. So I'm just going to say go to teachgentech.com to find out more. But how do people find you and reach out to you and talk to you? And who are you?
I am Laura. I am I have to get used to my new spiel because it used to be I am a technical writer. However, I am now a developer advocate, which I'm very excited about. I work for Suborbital Software Systems and the WebAssembly and extensibility spaces. People can find me. I exist on Twitter. However, I don't maintain a presence on Twitter anymore. But I am on Mastodon, and I think I've got my handle. Do I have my handle showing?
Yes,
I think I do.
yes,
Yeah. My handle is in my username.
And you will still get tagged. She still gets tagged on everything on Twitter, just so that way people know who she is. Even though I don't, I know she doesn't use it, and that's okay. And yeah, I will eventually have my elevator pitch. I'm still working on trying it out. Although I did come up with a graphic yesterday for the end of Vue School, and I was like, it's close.
Ooh.
Vue School, Vue Nation. For those just joining us, I hosted the last 2 days at Vue Nation, which is for Vue. Oh, that's us. Just kidding. You would think that I'd be like, figure this out because I was doing this all day yesterday. Share screen. What screen am I going to? This one. There we go. Look, it has projects and it has contact me. And I guess instead of thank you, I could just be like, yo, hire me for DevRel community. But then I don't have mental health on here. I don't know. I need to figure out how to talk about myself.
Are you looking for like a one, like Jenn in a single frame kind
like,
of?
Who is Jenn? Because I don't know how to describe it. Every time somebody asks me, they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, I don't know, but I need a job. It doesn't work out well, but Bakari, I heard that you guys had coffee or food or whatever for like 2 hours. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, we did.
And that you have to send me these pictures because it's like Bakari going to where I want to go and hanging out with people I want to hang out with.
Yeah. I can find the picture. Give me a sec.
I saw it on the Twitters.
Yeah. And I put it on Mastodon. Here we go. I'll share my screen.
Or everyone can move to Denver, Bakari. I'm just saying. Well, you, Jay, Homie are all in California, just different areas in California.
There it is.
Yeah,
here we are. Super fun. Yeah.
Yay. I love
really
it.
Good sandwich too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, we're Inception mode. Yay. All right. So to keep us on track, because this is our keep on track one.
Yeah, we created an entire extra stream to contain everything else.
Yes. All right. So we are learning how to automate the boring stuff with Python. And I have learned since Laura and I started doing this many months ago. Quick learning recap. One, it's really hard for me to read something. In general, I knew that I'm dyslexic, on this type of content, reading it on the screen and not having somewhere to put the notes by it, even if I type by it, doesn't make sense to me. So I have a physical book. Other things I've learned is just my own learning styles, how to learn, how to retain knowledge, keep going if I don't understand it, don't get stuck and give up. And trying to think of anything else. There are flashcards like Anki. Anki? Is that how you say it?
I think so. I would say Anki. I don't know. I think I've also heard Anki.
Anki? Okay.
I don't know. Ankh, like the Egyptian symbol, I guess, but that's spelled differently. So
Cool. Really quick, I think you are frozen.
I am totally frozen. Why is that?
I don't know, but it's kind of
you
cool.
freeze me, Jen.
This serious face, like bam.
Oh, I'm still frozen. That's fun.
You're still frozen. Yay, technology.
All right.
Yes.
Well, why don't we just carry on, and I will be trying. I'm going to stop my camera while I try to fix my camera.
Sweet. Yes, Ian, we are learning Python. And so a lot of it came to, I've been, since starting Teach Gen Tech about 6-7 months ago, I've learned that it's a lot easier for me to, I guess I'm really good at being handed a really big project and going, hey, figure this out based on something else. And it's like a puzzle. And I'm like, yeah, I got that. Yet what I don't quite understand and have had to struggle on is the basics. So I do a lot in JavaScript already. I do a lot of React, hosting and doing work with Vue, JavaScript, Vue.js, Nuxt.js, TypeScript. There's a lot of JavaScript in my world. Yet I'm also learning Python because the way that I've gone after JavaScript is how I just said of this, like, hey, take this really big idea and see if you can mush it together and figure it out. And the way that I am learning Python is from the exact opposite of we're going to do the bare basics and figure it out. So we are going to screen share because this is available online for free. So we are going to go over the parts that I am stuck on. And a lot of it is just the bare basics, and they're more of concepts than necessarily the actual code itself. And I don't know if Laura is still here or if she disappeared on us. I think she disappeared on us. But that's okay, because I am going to figure this out. And another reason, in case I didn't say this, is I got the book. So that way I can take notes in the margins. So I actually listen to it with a screen reader or a text to speech, and then I'm reading it at the same time so I can pause the screen reader and write my notes or go back a few times. And that's helped a ton because I'm visualizing it while I'm hearing it, where me reading out loud, if anybody wants to see something really funny, I have decided that the speakers of Vue Nation wanted to have the most syllables ever in their titles. So it was really fun. And I don't think I messed up too many of them. So yeah, it's all practice. And Laura's back. Yay.
I'm back.
Yeah. Rude of your camera to freeze.
I know.
But yes, so this is the Teach Gen Tech show, and it's teaching Gen Python. Yet we are going to stream it to Laura's as well because Laura's teaching it. And
it's true.
The mastery. And we're twinning today.
We are. I was getting ready and I slapped on some red lipstick, which I never do because I was like, oh, because Jenn usually wears red lipstick and then we'll match. And then Jenn was not wearing red lipstick. And Jenn said, hey, I like your red lipstick. And I was like, yeah, it was going to be this thing. And so Jenn ran and put on red lipstick. So we're the glasses and red lipstick folks today.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. All right. So, because that is one thing people should learn about me is I just love lipstick. I'm like, it's the easiest thing. Like, you don't have to do the rest of your makeup and we'll still get put together. This is like an old boss told me that when she's like, because I was in-person sales. So like the way you looked did influence more. I don't want to say that it was like necessary, but it did influence more. So she was like, yeah, just throw on lipstick. People will be like, you look more put together if you do. I'm like, what? At first I was really scared. And then I was like, oh no, I love lipstick. This is life right here. So lipstick goes with anything, y'all. I don't care who you are. You can wear it no matter where you are, who you are, what you want to go to. Doctors may make you remove it for doctor's appointments. But other than that, All right. So quick run through before I go to chapter 1 is, I can make this even bigger. Yay. Is automate the boring stuff. And with Al Swigart, is that how we decided his name is said?
I think it's maybe Gert, like Swigert.
Swigert.
I think.
And he wrote, I have the second edition. There might be many more editions out there. So we just kind of roll with it and hopefully it works. It is all on Python 3. So we don't talk about Python 2 very much. And this first part of it just goes through a lot of like, you can be a total noob. This is to get some basic commands going so you can understand programming enough. And that's it. So it's definitely, oh yes. Let me see if I can do a shout out. Shout out at L Swigert. I don't know if this is gonna work. Maybe. Oh, I think it did. I don't know, but he got a shout out on my channel. And if we keep going down, I really like this because in the book, and this is something that I think the book has that is a little easier when doing the text to speech, is during the introduction. It also went through, it might be in the introduction chapter. Let's click it because it probably is. Oh, it is. Yeah. It breaks down what all the chapters are for. So I'm going to keep scrolling down. Keep going. Yay. Let's go.
I think it's super awesome of Al to make this available for free. And if you can buy the book, you should buy the book to support Al's awesome work. But yeah,
agreed.
That's an excellent contribution to the community.
It is. And it's something that has made it so much easier to learn at the same time. Even like not everyone may be able to buy the book, but they can also use the website to be able to read this. Right. So I do want to go through just the layout of the book. It's part 1 is programming basics. I'm pretty excited about all of this because I'm still stuck on Python basics. So, and then part 2 is automating tasks. So we're actually going to get into creating more projects. And then if I keep going down, that might be it. Yeah, that's it. I'm really excited for chapter 18. Like getting to chapter 18 is what's going to keep me going. Which I'm guessing I could probably jump ahead, see if I can figure it out. Knowing me, that's what I would normally do, but we're working on learning from the beginning. So let me go back to chapter 1. And for this, y'all, I will link it again. It is also on the repo that was created for this stream. So let me grab that too. Because we have it where if you're wanting to follow with us, review every week, read your chapter beforehand with us, you are welcome, and we'll be here to ask questions. Whoa, I did that. Oh, it just shows a window because, oh, that's weird. What up, Jay?
Hey, Jay.
Jay is joining us from the YouTubes.
Ooh.
I don't know why I say the YouTubes or the Twitter or the TikTok. I think it's just showing my age. I'm an old lady.
I was going to say, I think it's because you're a millennial. Because how do I know that? I am a millennial. And it was all about the, like 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, it was all about the.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was like, oh no, it's longer ago. It was like 2008.
Okay. I was hoping it was because I'm an old lady. At least my 91-year-old grandmother calls me an old lady. So I'm going with it.
Oh.
She's been calling me an old lady since I was 25.
Okay.
So I'm convinced, but at the same time. All right. So really quick. Ooh, what did I do? Yep. Yes. Okay, cool. It did come over here. We do have this repo where I will put all of our projects, if we can. And also it will have all of the links, and I will add in the things that I got stuck on down here after the stream every week and some lessons learned. So if you want to stay up to date, know what to read in the future, hang out here. It will be where you can be up to date on everything. All right. On to Python basics. And I need to find chapter 1 because I'm going off of my book to ask questions because that's where I wrote them. Oh, the first thing that I don't want to ask about. Oh, actually, there's one right before it. I know we're not doing this in a IDE right now, but do you have to write out the greater thans, or is that just here to show the difference?
It's more like pop open a terminal.
Okay. Jay says no. I like notes.
But it's harder to remember, like for my brain anyway, it's harder to remember if you don't know why something is the case, it's harder to remember what the answer is. So it's more like, yeah, so I think you've changed your terminal, because if you opened like the default terminal, like not hyper, but just like the terminal, like if you go into like systems utility terminal, or that. Mm-hmm.
I don't know where anything is. I just search it all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, see that like percentage sign?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same idea. It's like a prompt. It's like a type here.
Oh.
So that's why if you look at the page again,
come back,
where you type, there are the carets, the right-facing carets, as like this is where you type, and then where the computer prints it back, there are no carets. There's no prompt.
Oh, I'm digging what everybody's saying. It's all bits is saying the terminal gives you, I guess this term is carets, which I'm going to definitely be writing down to show readiness for your typed command. And yes, a prompt. I wouldn't have thought of that either. And then Jay's question, have I used Jupyter Notebook? No.
Nope. We have not. She has used a REPL in like the Mu IDE, but not actually in a Jupyter notebook. We haven't gotten there yet.
And the book does suggest using Vue, and I do want to say this for everyone. I'm doing things a little differently on that aspect because I use VS Code for everything. I want to learn with VS Code.
Yeah. And that's why, because we had talked about this, like maybe we would just switch to a Jupyter notebook, but you wanted to do it in VS Code so that it was more like the way that it would be if you were building a project for a job.
But
and
we
then
have
you
views.
can use. Yes, code does support notebooks. Yeah, so that's a thing.
Oh, I remember Jay was on the stream a while ago. I learned a lot from that stream of like all of the customizations in VS Code, and we got my VS Code set up, and it's pretty now. So that actually makes a lot of sense on. Let me grab this link and send it to everybody so that way. Ooh, I need to definitely keep this tab open. I am learning how to use Arc browser. In case anybody's wondering why I'm taking so long to do anything, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
While you work on that, I want to shout out that Jay is going to be on a stream with me for my company a week from today. At this time next week, Jay and I will be streaming. I'm working on the graphic that's going to happen like later today, and then I'll have a link because I have to have the graphic in order to create the thingy and all that stuff.
Jay's reply: yes, please email Jay.
Yep, will do.
And okay, here is the link that Jay posted for all the other channels VS Code that I have up here. So I will, please give me a moment because I am going to take notes really quick and make sure, because a big reason that I'm wanting to do live learning and showing that I'm taking these notes is because I feel like I never knew how to study. I never knew how to learn. So that sounds weird saying that out loud, but like if I couldn't figure it out, I didn't necessarily know how to go after it.
They don't teach it. They don't teach how to learn in schools, which
Yeah.
is wild. So, it should be an ongoing class.
Yeah. And these are things that if you do look at when Laura and I first started kind of going through all of these, it took quite a while to get to this point. This is another reason we started Misc Monday, and it's been a big journey of just learning how to learn. And so please give me a moment. So it's is code prompt. Like percentage. Oh, that's not percentage. Percentage in terminal. Oh, my pencil. And Jupyter notebook works with VS Code. Okay. So I really should set up my phone so that way I can just show this as well. And as I'm writing notes, but basically we'll do that for next stream. Random other notes that are added, and it may not make sense to anyone else, but it makes enough sense to me that I know those are called carets, and that it is the prompt like percentage sign in terminal. And then also VS Code works, Jupyter works with VS Code. So very exciting things to do.
Also called pointy brackets. And it's a different spelling. It's not carrot like the vegetable. It's carrot like a diamond. C-A-R-E-T. It sort of works both ways, right? Because carrots are pointy.
I was going to say,
But
it kind of looks like
actually,
a carrot.
Right. Yeah. So it works both ways. But if you were to, the only reason I mention it is because if you were to search for it, it will get there faster if you know the correct spelling.
And I appreciate that, because that is definitely something, y'all, language.
It's a thing.
I wish they were carrots. That would be an awesome book.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I feel like, Jay, you now know the title of your book that you will write one day.
Your like coding Python for babies book, Jay.
Yes.
It should have carrot brackets for sure. I just announced that Jay's writing a Python for babies book, and obviously I do not, in fact, dictate what Jay has to do.
See, that is a great way of remembering it.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, I want Jay's Python for babies book.
This is cracking me up. Actually, I like that you have it in quotes, because that is like, for anybody that may be new to this world, actually is a way that people get into fights on social media of like, actually. So I love that it's in the quotes and like this. Carrot points upwards and the angle brackets point left to right.
It's true. Carrot without a modifier is the like exponent sign. It's on like 6 or something. But like in my computer science classes back in the day, they were referred to as left brackets or like left caret and right caret. We didn't call them angle brackets. That's like a term that I've been hearing recently, but we didn't call them angle brackets or pointy brackets. It was left caret and right caret. All of these things, of course, all make a ton of sense and are all good.
Also, just want to point out the fact that I am, yes, and they also said, thus the quotes soften it. They do.
Oh, yeah,
they do.
that totally
They make it a funny
through.
thing. They make it a funny thing. What? Stop letting me.
I think it's distract.
Yeah, but I like this better because it made me think of a cat. And yesterday during Vue Nation, Paige was on, and anyway, I was gonna say, I really appreciate that It's All Bet said that it is carrot spelt like this, because this is what Laura said as well, but I wrote it with a K. And this is about learning. Is like, Laura said it, Laura spelt it right. Didn't realize that I wrote it wrong until I saw it and went, that is not how I did.
It's a thing.
All right. Oh, geez.
I've never heard of Octothorpe, and I love it.
What is an Octothorpe?
Thank you. I think it's the same. It's like this symbol has all these different names.
Oh. Octothorpe. All right. This is why we get distracted.
It is.
Okay, everybody needs to make sure that they're here on Mondays, because we do Learning Python every other week, but we do miss Mondays every Monday.
That we like when we start feeling like we need to talk about something else, I'm just going to put it on a list.
Yes.
Next Monday. Okay.
So please put Octothorpe.
I am putting Octothorpe.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's go back here. Let me go to my next thing of what I don't know. Oh, it's this. It is this. I actually have the operations in a question later on as well, of like, how do you remember these? Because math and I, not the greatest, which you don't need to know math. We have a full, like probably 2 episodes on not needing to know a math to program. Yet I will say it may help in if you already understand some of these concepts and symbols. I do think that would help, but it's not necessarily something you need. That being said, how, if I were like looking at this, because I'm going through it and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I get all of these, but just like when we did the quiz way back in the day, I was like, I don't actually remember them. Same with like when we went through, oh gosh, see, I don't even remember what they're called now. Data types. I'm like, cool. I probably would have eventually figured that out, but I don't remember actually what they're called. So like, do you have any tips or tricks on how to remember these? Just the flashcards, you think, or is there another way that people use to do them?
So spaced repetition is going to be, well, so I would say 2 things. 3 things. Okay. One is spaced repetition, and Anki, that's what Anki is all about. That's not, those are the digital flashcards. You can do spaced repetition without flashcards. I mean, you can do it sort of however you want. Some people keep like a notebook, and review that way. And then another thing is to actually understand, because to a certain degree, I think, especially like in terms of these, they make sense, I think. Like well, okay, I'll get to the third thing. The third thing is to make up something. Sometimes people use colors. That's actually a big thing in Montessori, is to use colors, like for when they're teaching parts of speech. Nouns are black circles, verbs are red triangles. And so you build, like the kids start building sentences with actual shapes, not even words. And so it's like, and then like when you're doing subject versus predicate, the subject has to have a noun, and the predicate, maybe that's a verb, and whatever. Yeah. So like abstracting it into something else that makes sense, like shapes or colors or songs or all, like whatever helps your brain.
I feel like I'm missing, you said that there were 3.
Yeah. So there's spaced repetition.
Okay.
Actually understanding why things are the way that they are.
Oh, the why.
Yeah.
Okay. So on this one, I'm going to put it out. I do have add to Anki, however we're going to say it. That's a flashcard thing. So I'm going to move over it, but I also put at the very end of how to remember things better. So we'll follow up on that next week. The next bigger thing that didn't make sense. Oh, yes.
Do you want to just go over like an overview of things that didn't make sense, or do you want to talk about ways that I think we can make these make sense?
So I think these make enough sense. Okay. I just wanted to make sure, like, these do make sense to me. Okay. I think it is going to be a lot. I really like the color idea. And that's actually something that I was very annoyed with using pencil in the book, is I can't look at it quickly and know I'm bouncing from ideas. Because I actually do that a lot of times when I'm taking notes, is I use very many different pens, because even if they're not necessarily associated with a certain thing, I can at least tell that it's different than the thing next to it.
Right.
So
they make really good erasable colored pencils now.
Do they?
Yes.
Oh, I need that in my life. All right. I'm just going to write that down. No, I'm not. We'll see. We'll see if I remember that one. But going off of that, like I'm going through this and I'm like, this all totally makes sense, except till we get to here. the breakdown of visualizing it from a mathematical point of view. Is that how
order of operations?
Order of operations? And I guess, oh, when you say it out loud like that, that totally makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So these parentheses, they tell you what to do first, right? And so first we have to find out what 5 minus 1 is before we can do anything else with it. Yep. And the 7 plus 1 and the 3 minus 1. So that's what, so first we go through and 5 minus 1, that's 4, and so on and so on.
This totally makes way more sense now. I think just as like learning that, and I'm saying this as out loud by myself, that it was hard is these all kind of they do point out more, but it also doesn't say like step 1, just do this one, like as next to it, like as an explanation of like what line 1 is doing while line 1 is doing it. Yes, other people can associate it by understanding the context. Yeah, that's not always something that I do. But now that you're like, you said it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that totally does.
Yeah. Yeah. So like right above, it says Python will keep evaluating parts of the expression until it becomes a single value. And I think that's what is being illustrated here.
Yeah. But that's not something that like my language went to. Sure. So, and Jay, what is
PEMDAS? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Which is the American mnemonic for order of operations. As a math instructor, I hated it because it reasonably suggests to students that you have to do multiplication before division and addition before subtraction, which is not true. Multiplication and division are in the same hierarchy, like they're on the same level in the hierarchy, and so are addition and subtraction. And so the way that I would teach it is parentheses, exponents, dots, lines. So multiplication and division, those are dot operations. Addition and subtraction are line operations. Pedal, yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly what I taught. I taught it. I came up with it because I homeschooled my older two. And so I came up with it for them. And then I was using it when I was teaching.
Sweet.
Yeah, because I had tons of students who were trying to do multiplication before division and addition before subtraction, because that's literally what it says.
I'm no joke. Like, I've gotten in debates with people because I'm like, don't you do addition first? Or like one of the other ones? And I'm like, that's how you do it. And then you do them left to right. And they're like, no, you don't have to do all the multiplication first. This is the entire
source of all of those. Nobody, 85% of people get this math problem wrong or whatever. Why? Because we lie to our students with PEMDAS. That's why.
Okay. I'm glad I brought it up. Cool. Because I think that's something that, and this is also, for ads get paid. Oh, sorry, Jay. Let me know if it gets too much. I can see if I can adjust it. I also don't know if I'm actually getting paid yet on it or not. That being said, if anybody knows of anyone hiring or need work done or needs somebody to talk them through stuff, hire me as a coach, as sales, as customer service, as DevRel, as training. Hire me. I really need a job. Just gonna have that on repeat for everything. Anyway, cool. Because I do have a lot of like add to Anki stuff. There are questions around the integer, floating point, and string data types.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, it's I'm looking for it on here to go to it. Y'all, next week, I am definitely going to set up the camera so you can see my book at the same time. Because I can only imagine this is annoying because you're like, I don't know what she's looking at. Oh, yay! Thank you, Jay. Is string connotation and
concatenation.
Catenation.
Concatenation, yeah.
So and for those who are also learning with us, it can con job cat annotations. I dig it. Is sometimes it's kind of hard to say, hey, I don't know what I don't know, or I don't know why I don't understand it, which does help people trying to teach you things. So,
yep.
Is it just saying, and I think it's also just like a word that I haven't heard, is when it joins two strings together? This is one thing I don't understand about tech is why do they have to give such complicated multi-syllable words to something very simple?
Join two strings together. Concatenation is fewer syllables.
It is fewer syllables, but it doesn't actually explain what you're doing. It's a word that you also have to learn a definition for.
Oh, it sort of does explain what you're doing, but you have to understand like the word parts in Latin.
Okay. Agreed. Where would you use this word in something else that somebody may actually already know and associate with?
I mean, yeah, so it always means to it's not just joining two things together. It's a little bit more specific because if I say join Alice with Bob, say in terms of not join in terms of programming, because that's a thing, but also like just join in terms of like the English language. If I said join the two things together, it doesn't tell you the order in which one is on the left and which one is on the right. It's not actually specific, right?
Okay.
Whereas if you are concatenating something and something else, the something that you read first has to be on the left. Like you read it from left to right, it's going to be concatenated in the same order. So like where if you when we have the dictionary off of the Alice and Bob,
I just really quick, concatenation is a series of interconnected things. A syllable, not syllable, a word that replaces it would be series, sequence, succession, chain, string, train, course, progression, nexus. We could have used nexus.
I don't know.
To what Jay said of we already use the word join, and also programming is considered a science and comes from academia, which has a history of making things more complicated as a form of validation and gatekeeping. Not all educators, as we have met, Laura. What are we? Octothroat Jay's aggressive disdain for the education system. Jay now has 2 books coming out. We have one, which is carrots. We need to write these ones down, Jay. Like, I am very much looking forward to Jay's books. But concatenation or concatenated is when something is joined from left to right.
It does mean, so here we have Alice plus Bob. gets joined as Alice Bob.
Okay.
It's not Bob Alice.
Okay.
It's specifically Alice Bob.
Jay saying why when they could barely write a book. I would say, people will help. You can get ghostwriters. You can use text to speech. There's more options. There's more. And also, I would say for books, I don't think you really need to do it as a physical book to start. Like, as so many of us are making online content and there's transcription options, you can have it transcribe it to give a good basis of books or blogs or whatever you're writing. It does take time though, and I'm not great at doing that. But this is making a lot more sense, especially now that I understand what concatenated means.
Mm-hmm.
Concatenated. Okay. Cool.
I want to just say it's like we can't say you add these two things together because addition is commutative. 2 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 5. But Alice Bob is not the same as Bob Alice.
Okay.
Even though we're using the addition symbol.
Okay.
So we're keeping it, we're not making people learn a new symbol. We're using that plus sign, and it's trying to draw an intuition about what plus means, but we can't just call it adding these things together, because adding definitely does mean that addition is commutative. So
okay, that one and the notes are weird. Octothrope sounds like a supervillain name. What was his supervillain's name? If anybody see Spider-Man with all the other Spider-Mans, wasn't there a octopus type dude there?
There's a Dr. Octopus in the Spider-Man stories.
Maybe. Why didn't they call him Octothrope? Isn't Octa
I think
8?
it's Octothorpe.
Thorpe.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Otto Octavius.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to the next one. Going to the next one. Oh, yep. Okay, this one's a bit of a scroll. It's a bit of a scroll. Wait. Ah. Okay. So I totally get we are on the overwriting. That's what we're looking at right now. And assignment statements. So if I understand right, it just means that we can assign. Is it only a number to a word, or can something be assigned to something of anything?
Do you mean like this where it says spam equals 42? Could we instead say like 42 equals spam?
That, and could you say spam equals eggs?
Yes. Could you say 42 equals spam? No.
Okay.
Because 42 is a number and it means 42. And you can't override what a number, the value of a number. That's a fixed, that's a no. So when you say we could write, do you want to pull up like an IDE or anything like a text editor or whatever?
I don't like VS codes. Can we change icon? Jay, you're here. Can we change icon colors for VS Code? Is that possible? I don't know if it is, but for some reason it's not the colors that I always skip over it because I'm like, this isn't the color of everything else. It doesn't have like a dark mode. Random things I think about. The actual app icon, yes, but you can do that with any app. Oh, interesting. No, I just want a new file. Give me a new file. New file. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. No wonder. Text file. Oh, look, I can start a new notebook. I'm clicking it. It asked, so I'm doing it.
Okay. So you asked if you could put spam equals eggs. And the answer is a yes with like a wee caveat, which is that you would need quotation marks around the eggs.
Okay, so spam equals eggs, but we'd have to do it as eggs. Because it's a string?
So I guess it sort of depends on what your intention is. Like if you want to say that, because otherwise, without the quotation marks, eggs is a variable. So you're saying, I've got a variable spam, and I am assigning it the value of the variable eggs, but you don't already have a variable eggs declared. So if like you said eggs equals 42, and then you said spam equals eggs, then the value that would be stored in spam would be 42. Let's type it.
So I say spam equals 42. That does not need it to be in a string or quote marks.
Nope. I mean, it can be if you want to assign it like the word, like the string version of 42, where it's not actually a number, it's a string.
Okay.
It's just those two characters, like the character 4 followed by the character 2, not the numerical value 42.
Can you comment out? Oh, you can comment out after it. Spam 42 and not. How do you summarize that?
I don't know. What are you trying to say here?
That it's because the first one without the quote marks is still a variable.
Okay. put spam equals eggs without eggs in quotation marks.
All right.
Put both. Have a version with the quotes and without.
And I'm pretty sure, y'all, because you might be wondering this, some languages do allow you to have it with a single quote or double quotes. And some people have it as, what up, everyone from James. Why can I not say James's name today? James is quick. James is quick. Thank you. And to everybody joining, we are learning Python with Automate the Boring Stuff. James the Rapid. Oh, I like that. So thank you. And right now we are in chapter 1, which are the bare basics. And I know that James is probably talking about something very, very technical. And I will have to say that it was cool because I used James's YouTube video to set up Hyper and that kind of stuff, which is very helpful.
Oh,
So
cool.
thanks, James. And yes, Yeri, thank you. Yeri over at YouTube is saying that's a good book to get started with. And for those who don't know, Yeri was my first guest on Teach Gen Tech many moons ago when
nice.
I couldn't tell the difference between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So there's been a lot
We've
of
come so
movement since
far.
then. Yeah. Yeah. Yay. What up, James? We still need to get James on the show. Like, for anybody that doesn't know who James is, how would I summarize? James, how do you summarize yourself? I would say that Jay is James. Damn, so many names today. Is a full-time content creator, which in reality means full-time educator. It's kind of what I think of it. Yes, you are all J's. You are all J's. Yere, Jay, James, Jenn. Lori, you gotta change your name now.
I have a child named Jasper.
Dude, that is such a cool name.
Oh, have I never told you my kid's name before?
No.
Yeah.
We talk about your kids.
Yeah,
like, I know
that's
them.
my 5-year-old.
I know like about them. Anyway, for those who don't know, my name is Jen. I have this show called Teach Gen Tech. And as I said, we're learning Python right now. We do this every other Friday. And on Mondays, Laura joins me and we do Misc Mondays where we literally just hang out and talk about the most random shit. And the reason we started that is because we meant to start doing automate the boring stuff and learn Python like 6 months ago. But then we realized we have a lot of random stuff to say. So to make us more concise, we had to start our own show weekly. So make sure to hit follow and hang out with us because I'm still a noob, yet at the same time, I also do complicated stuff. It's a very confusing thing when I don't know all of the basics. So that's what we're going over today. And thank you, James, for coming to hang out for a bit and the raid.
Enjoy your lunch.
Yes. Yes. All right. So back to this, we are currently going over, for those who just joined us, assignment statements. And I think of what it was called. And
see the squiggly lines under eggs?
Yeah, it doesn't like it.
Cover. Yeah, right. So what it's saying is eggs is not defined. So if you unhover, okay. So, but it doesn't mind it when we have spam equals eggs where eggs is in quotation marks. Because then what we're saying is spam is equal to this string, which is EGGS. If without the question marks, we're saying this variable spam gets assigned the value of the variable eggs. Because without quotation marks, a string without quotation marks is a variable. Right? Like spam has no quotation marks because it's a variable. Like if it's a word or something like you would normally think of as a string, then it either, if you want it to actually be a string, then it needs quotation marks, because if you don't put quotation marks on, it's a variable name.
And that totally makes sense. And y'all, for this stream, I don't have it set up, but I will in the future. I'm writing my notes in my book, and nobody can see them. But by next time, you will. I will set up another camera, and we will have it here so you can see my notes at the same time of the random stuff I'm writing.
Yeah, and so the reason that's not a problem. So we'll notice, like, even though 42 doesn't have the first 42, the first line doesn't have quotation marks, that's okay, because 42 is a number and it knows what to do with 42. We don't have to define 42 for the computer because the computer knows what numbers are.
Got it. Got it. And what up, Anthony?
Yay.
Welcome. Anthony says, Ayo. This is, in case anybody wants to know, Anthony is my internet big brother. He is the one who, between him and Ramon, convinced me to start my own stream. Wow, we're like got the OGs here.
Yeah.
Yare coming on, being my first guest.
Mm-hmm.
This is exciting. So yes, Friday Hangout. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is making a lot more sense, and also about can we replace it? Oh, the next question was, can you replace it and overwrite it in the same file? And I feel like we just answered that, because we've literally named spam, if we get rid of this one, 3 times.
Yeah. And in fact, with the one that you had, the one that you deleted, that one would actually be okay. So if you go like take that first line where it says spam equals the string eggs, change that to eggs equals 5 or whatever. Ooh, okay. Watch what happened. So delete. Yeah. So it was unhappy with the word string. I mean, with the word eggs, right up until you put that equal sign and it said, okay, you're going to make it a variable. I can deal with that. Yeah.
Well, this is exciting. And Culminator, oh, that's a fun name. Culminator just said that Python like the honey badger.
Yeah, and so now it's not, see, we can say spam equals eggs without the thingy, the squiggly, because you did define the variable eggs.
This makes sense.
Yeah, and what we did was we didn't just redefine spam. We didn't just define spam 3 times. We actually defined it in 3 different sort of ways. Because the first one, we say we're assigning spam to the value of another variable. And the second time, we're assigning to spam the value that is the numerical value 42. And then we're assigning it a string. So you can do all 3 of those. You can assign a variable to have the value of another variable. You can assign a variable to have the value of a number. You can assign the variable to have the value of a string. And there are also more, but these are the ones that we've talked about so far.
Y'all, I'm just going to have to go back and just like clip that entire thing. I've decided that these small clips are what needs to go on like TikTok or something, because like these are the things that I think are harder for people to understand. Because I'm like, leave it to me to like have to like go try to figure one of these out, and I will, but knowing what they actually mean, not always.
So this is something special about a language like Python, which is what do they call it, loosely typed, or anyway, it's you couldn't do that in a language that's strongly typed like C. You with those languages, you have to declare like this variable is of this data type. You would type like, if you wanted to give for spam to contain the number 42, then you would say like int spam equals like, so spam has to be an integer, or spam has to contain a string, or that kind of thing. Python is not strongly typed, and so it will allow you to just change. You don't have to declare what data type your variable will contain, and you can change it.
I feel like that makes it even more interesting that my other Friday show, when you're not hanging out, is TypeScript.
Exactly.
Perfect. You know, I'm going to the 2 extremes. That is great. And Yare, good luck with the interview. I'm guessing it's to interview to hire people on your team. So yay. And also, I don't know if Jay's still here. I meant to reply to Jay, and he said earlier to add more keyboard shortcuts for VS Code and stuff. And I'm like, yes, I still need to do that. And I just feel like that's a reason Jay needs to come back on the show. I'm also okay, let me find under print function. Print function. Print function. Scroll. Print function. I'm looking for the actual word. Oh. A value passed as a function is called an argument. And for some reason, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Probably because we colloquially in English, we use argument to mean one very specific thing, which is like where you're having a debate and you're also mad about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just an older argument, like, yeah. So if you like search for like definition of argument, it's not inherent to the word argument that you're having a debate and you're mad about it. It's more like, so we refer to an argument as like a particular type of discussion that's being had between two people. But we use this word in English colloquially. You'd use it like this. Like, okay, you are arguing that the sky is blue. My argument is that the sky is not actually blue, it's just refracting light or whatever. Right? And so that's where you refer to what the other person is saying, their input to the discussion is their argument. Your input to the discussion is your argument. Like we totally do that in English, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what we're doing here. It's the input.
Let me noodle on this one for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
The words you're saying make sense. Like that is something that I've learned a lot about since this entire thing started. Is like words can make sense. Now going from like the what to how doesn't always. For example, so a value that is passed to a function is called an argument. So
it's the input. It's the input to the function.
So in print hello world, the value is hello world, and
the
that's
string
the
hello
input.
world.
So therefore, this entire thing is a function or an argument.
Input and argument are synonyms here.
Oh. So hello world would be an argument.
Got it. To the print function.
Hold on. And just so everybody knows, I will take pictures of my notes and I'll put a new markdown file in the repo created for this. So that way it's documented. And Cole just asked, is argument not is
oops, I think we just
you go.
Okay, I'll go. There we go.
Is argument not word in JavaScript, TypeScript worlds? Something that just as like a call out is it totally could be. Like, I can get things to work in JavaScript. Like, great. I can get things to do magic. I can get APIs to work. Like, it's phenomenal. I have no idea what anything is called at all. And so that's been a big process of learning with Laura on learning Python for this one, because not knowing the terminology does make it so much harder to do the job when you're asking for help. I think being self-taught, and I did a poll a while ago that, yes, I totally think almost everyone is self-taught about something in their coding career. Because you have to go figure things out. But this is something so that way I'm learning more of the basics to catch up with what I'm already doing. I think is probably the best way to say it.
The idea of an argument to a function is older than programming, because that's also what you do in math.
Oh.
So just like, you'd have like f of x equals blah, blah, blah. That's a function whose name is f, whose argument is x. So a lot of things, like Jay was saying earlier, a lot of stuff in programming, it comes from, because programming arose from math. I mean, programming is, in fact, it's all math under the hood, right? And so it arose from math, often for the purposes of science. And so that's why so much of the framing comes from the way that mathematicians and scientists refer to things, because that's where it came from.
And I like your call out on this, because Jay said earlier about a lot of educators can, I don't think that educators necessarily mean to do this, but they can gatekeep content or information because of not understanding this and also not knowing how to break it down for others. One of my, such a dope human I know, Venya, she is, I like to call her my academic friend, because she has so many degrees. She's taught in universities. She talks very academically. That's what I'm going to go with. A lot of big words. And I'm just like, dude, context, I can get what you're saying with context, but I need you to break it down 7 times. And that is the cool thing. And I love this about her, because she doesn't mind doing it and doesn't make me feel bad or anybody bad for doing it, because that's just the way she talks and the way she's learned and the way she does everything. So I totally get the whole gatekeeping idea. And I love that you do this as well, as helping people understand it and translate it, because it is a translation and learning another language just as learning programming. So cool. That one made sense. So I know that we only have 10 more minutes. So I'm gonna go back up, because I think I skipped over this because it made sense with I'm gonna go down to where I actually wrote it. It made sense to the actual description of it when it came up, but then when it was actually used here, it did not make sense. Oh, len makes sense to me. It's length. This didn't quite make sense. So it's a string, and we talked about a string is just anything in quotes.
Sure.
Okay. An integer is a number.
It is specifically a number that does not require a decimal point. You might want to say like it's a whole number. The reason that I'm not is because officially in mathematics, whole numbers do not include negative numbers.
Oh.
And so, but integers do. So integers expand the whole numbers. Like it's like Venn, like in a Venn diagram, it's like a series of concentric, so circles that share the same center.
Okay.
Because con means with, and so like that's like concatenate. It's like with, blah blah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So ooh, and a really fun question: does whole number include 0? Yes, it does. Whole numbers include 0. So natural numbers are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whole numbers are the natural numbers plus and also including 0. Integers expand those further because they include all of the whole numbers, but their negative counterparts, and so on and so on. You don't have to know these terms to program, but that's just why I'm not referring to them as whole numbers, to integers as whole numbers. I'm referring to them as numbers that don't require decimal points. That's why.
Can they do negatives though?
Absolutely. Yes.
Include negative numbers, 0, and I'm just going to put positive numbers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But no fractions because it's no decimals.
That's right. Oh yeah, for anybody who doesn't know me, I forgot to include in my spiel that I used to be a math professor.
Yes. Yes.
That is context for all.
That is, this is a really good way. And thank you for re-explaining that because this is something. And then if we get to it, because I know we got 9 minutes, float.
Okay, so float is just the short version of floating point. Point. Floating point is the same as decimal point. It's the point. So floating point numbers, those are numbers that use decimals. Decimal points.
Oh.
It's the same point.
Okay, just repeating it back. So integers are anything that do not have decimal or fractions, and float is anything with fractions or decimals. I don't think you can do fractions, but I'm going to say it in there.
Yeah. Oh, it's taking everything in me not to get into how all like the nitty-gritty of how all these things work. But yeah, you can assign, like if you said spam equals 3/4, it looks like what you typed says spam gets the value of 3/4, which is a fraction. But it's going to be converted to a decimal. So it's not going to get stored as 3/4. It's going to get stored as 0.75.
Okay. So float is
yeah. And so Culminator correctly says that boo repeating fractions, yay to non-repeating fractions. So yeah, so what Culminator is referring to is the fact that like, so I chose 3/4 very carefully because 3/4 is actually equal to 0.75 the end. 1/3 is equal to 0.3 repeating forever. And computers can't actually deal with this repeats forever. So they can only go out to, in this case, it would be 32 bits. And so it'll cut it off. So it'll be like 32, 3s after the 0, which isn't enough 3s because you can never have enough. So it's not actually equal to 1/3. It is merely close. We don't have to worry about that right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, cool. Yeah. Yeah, totally. What you just said. So this is making so much more sense. And makes this make a lot more sense. Well, let me go to this other one. Just to make sure I'm fact checking myself of So in this example, spam equals input. That just means that somebody had to type something back.
Mm-hmm. That means that you're waiting for when this program runs, it will pause to wait for you to type something in. And it will wait forever until either you force it to stop or you provided an input.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That makes sense. That makes sense. And thank you. I appreciate it.
Yay.
Got another subscription, and y'all, I'm actually going to be working on, and hopefully this is news for you, Laura, that we will be using OBS on Monday. And I will just be sending you a link to, I'm going to be working on using Ping, and we're going to try it out. Figured we'd test it out. Okay, like this is all making way more sense. And dude, we got it done in an hour and a half compared to, I think it tried taking us like 3 sessions last time. Just get through part 1. So this will be linked in the GitHub, as well as will be on YouTube, which let me grab the GitHub again, which I can stop sharing. And join us, every week or every other week when we do this, or every Monday if you want to hang out with us when we do that, Misc Mondays, because it's definitely something that I feel like so many people could really use this information, but it's also like having fun, having so many people join the conversation. Because yes, Laura is a teacher, has been a teacher. I feel like that's what a DevRel is half the time. But Laura may or may not help me format a technical document on her stream at some point.
Yeah. Whenever you have one.
Yes. I will. The next one is, it's a technical document, but it's more of a technical blog. It's definitely not a like tech writing thing. So I'm not as worried about that one. But the next one, actually, I have your scheduling link. I need to use it because y'all, I have an interview next week. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. Because I need a job. If in case I don't say it enough, I need a job, y'all. And it is for a Web3 company, but they're like, hey, do a presentation, and it needs to be about something you're passionate about. That's a developer tool in Web2 or Web3. And I'm like, I've been building an Astro site. So I am going to talk about what I asked for help on. And somebody told me I need to understand the code and understand the docs, and didn't help. And I was like, dude, that was not nice and not helpful. So I am going to do my presentation on that. But to do that, I could use your help, and I will get it done, and we can dissect it live.
Sounds good.
Yay. Awesome. And thank you. The Python community is greater than the JavaScript community. Okay, cool. Me trying to work on my, I'm not going to lie, y'all. The first way I read that is The Python community is Carrot's JavaScript community. If you weren't there for that part of the conversation, just go back in time, watch the stream. But yeah, I mean, I like both. I like both communities, and I like learning because I've also never been the type of person to just hang out in one community. I've never been great at that. I like learning both. It's been fun. It also helps me really understand the two languages better because they're not the same. So I'm like, oh, like when I found out what an IDE is. Oh, if anybody doesn't know what the acronym TIL means, I tweeted it because today I learned what TIL is.
Oh, really? Fun.
I tweeted that yesterday. I learned about it yesterday, though.
Gotcha.
From Anthony. He said it, and I was like, oh, I got to Google that shit. But thank you, everyone. Laura, anything you want to cover before next time?
No. Nope. Thanks for hanging out with us, y'all.
Yay. And we will see you all next week. Let me find someone for us to raid to. Maybe it's this one? I don't know. This trying to do like everything on this new browser and I are learning. We will learn. We will get there. It'll be great. And Culminator, thank you for the follow. And I hope to see you again next time. Because on Mondays, we talk about all the random stuff plus Python. I would say we do
have a list.
About Python on Miss Mondays.
Sure.
Just because I think this is kind of like to your coloring, like the color coding that you talked about is association. Because if I think Python, I think U and J.
Oh, that's nice.
Ian as well, but like I don't think of Ian as Python. I think of Ian as Postman and APIs or interviews. So, oh, I figured out why Jay left. Jay streaming.
Oh, we gonna raid Jay?
Yeah, we're gonna raid Jay. This is gonna be exciting. All right, now that I figured out who we're raiding, and wait, can we still? Somebody just raided, so where's my raid button? There's my raid button. And start raid. All right, y'all. We will see you later and enjoy the rest of your day, Friday and weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Bye.